Hi everyone, happy Friday. I hope everyone's had a great week. This is Miss Shelby, and I'm going to read Fancy Nancy for our story hour. Here are the animals. Miller Kitty's not going to join us, but we have some animals that are going to listen to our story. And I have my fancy earrings on for Savannah and my fancy flowers. And here we go. Fancy Nancy, written by Jane O'Connor. For my desert girls, who I miss very, very much. I love being fancy. My favorite color is fuchsia. That's a fancy way of saying purple. I like to write my name with a pen that has a plume. That's a fancy way of saying feather. And I can't wait to learn French because everything in French sounds fancy. Nobody in my family is fancy at all. They never even ask for sprinkles. There's a lot they don't understand. Lace trim socks do help me play soccer better. Sandwiches definitely taste better when you stick in frilly toothpicks. A princess is supposed to keep on her tiara. What's a fancy girl to do? I asked my doll Maribel. Her full name is Maribel Lavinia Chandelier. Then I get an idea. That is stupendous. That's a fancy word for great. Maybe I can teach my family how to be fancy. I can make an ad and stick it on the refrigerator. Learn to be fancy with lessons from Nancy. They start today. Easy, fun, and free. Soon there's a knock on the door. My family saw the ad. They want to get started right away. The trouble is, my family doesn't own any fancy clothes. That's okay. I go and find, what is that word, fancy? Oh, yeah, some accessories. Ooh la la, my family is posh. That's a fancy word for fancy. My mom twirls in front of the mirror. Why don't we go somewhere fancy tonight? How about dinner at the King's Crown, Dad suggests. Wow, my parents are really acting fancier already. The lessons are paying off. Might I escort you, lovely ladies outside? The limousine is waiting. My dad is our chauffeur. That's a fancy word for driver. When we arrive at the King's Crown, everyone looks up. They probably think we're movie stars. I am so proud of my whole family. They sat with their pinkies up and they called each other darling. For dessert, let's have parfaits, my mom says. That's a French word for ice cream sundaes. Amazing! My mother knows French. When our parfaits are ready, I curtsy and say, merci. I carry the tray like a fancy waiter. Oops! I trip. I slip. The tray does a double flip. Oh no, poor Nancy. I don't feel fancy anymore. I want to go home. After I get all cleaned up, I put on my dressing gown. Those are fancy words for my bathrobe. I feel much better. I'm ready for my parfait. I tell my parents thank you for being fancy tonight. I love you, my dad says. I love you, my mom says. And all I say back is I love you, because there isn't a fancier, better way of saying that. Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend. Miss Shelby loves all of her desert friends.